Welcome to The Show Off, the podcast where we make each other sit down, shut up, and watch episodes of our favorite TV shows and then explain, or be forced to listen to, why it's top-tier television. This show is for anyone who has ever wanted to go on endless tangents about their favorite shows, but their friends and family don't want to hear it. We get it. Ditch those losers and come hang out with us instead. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kampy.
And this is The Show Off.
Previously on the Show Off podcast. We are watching a show that I rewatch maybe once a year.
Really?
It's Imposters from
You've
2017
told me about
to
this
2018.
show.
We're going to be watching season 1, episode 2. So I'll give you the setup of what happens in episode 1.
Okay.
We get introduced to Ezra. The whole first episode is basically him being super depressed because his wife left him and stole all his money. And he gets a knock on the door. We find out that this guy was a previous husband of this girl.
Right.
He also got swindled by her. And so the two of them are going to team up and try to find her. And so we go into episode 2 with the hunt begins.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is actually kind of shocking that I've never
I
done
know, when I tried to get you to watch this so many times.
My love, let me go again, right back.
We're back. It's been a few weeks.
Wait, I thought you were going to pull up your notes for
I got it.
Oh,
We're
sweet.
good.
Okay,
They're right
hi.
there.
Hi, we're back.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm a little stressed today. A little
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
Leave for Colorado tomorrow, so just
Exciting.
a lot of shit I gotta get done.
Yeah, you're about to embark on like the most insane season of travel.
Yeah.
Insane for me. You're like, you got it. But
I'm like, this is a Tuesday.
yeah, you're an expert. That amount of travel would stress me out, but
Yeah. I like it. I enjoy it.
yeah. Meanwhile, I have recovered from a serious case of tonsillitis.
You're back from the dead.
I'm back from the dead. And it wasn't fun. It was not fun. But prior to getting the tonsillitis, we had a great time at Summerfest.
We did. We saw the Cold War kids.
We saw Cold War kids. It was real good, actually. I was suffering, but it was good.
You hung in there.
yeah. I hung in there, and I play kickball now.
Has that started?
It just started. Yeah. So it started last week. I couldn't play last week because I was sick.
Right.
But then last night was the first game I went to.
How was it?
It was fun. I suck. I'm not good. I'm not good at it.
I mean, do you have to be?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. It was a cool group of people. Apparently there was slight improvement over our game from the previous week, so
All
we
right.
still lost.
So, I mean, I take that as a sign of you coming in.
Yeah.
And
That's definitely what it was.
raising the quality of the team. Clearly.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I am going to have to come to a game just to like cheer on the sides.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm going to have some friends come down from Door County in a couple weeks, and they're going to come to a game.
No
So,
way.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that'd be fun.
Very fun.
Okay. But today,
All right, we getting into it?
we're getting
Are
into
we
it.
getting into it?
Yes.
Yee. Okay, I am obviously very excited. I'm super excited. I love this show so freaking much.
Hell yeah.
And I am going to force you to watch it episode by episode through the Show Off, apparently.
I mean, I probably could be convinced to watch it with you outside of the podcast.
It's so good. We are talking about Imposters.
Imposters.
Ran from 2017 to 2018. Only 2 seasons. Phenomenal show. This is why we call this particular theme Only the Good Die Young.
Yeah. Brilliant but canceled.
It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. I love this show. Does it surprise you to know that in between the last time we recorded and now I have rewatched the whole show?
That does not surprise me in the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you said last time that you usually rewatch this show once a year, I was like, oh, wow. And then I thought about it for a second. And I was like, no, that's pretty par for the course for Kampy.
Okay, but to be fair, of the shows that I watch once per year, it's Bob's Burgers, although that's just always on. So, like, that's not really a
You
rewatch.
rewatch Bob's Burgers once per year?
More than that.
You
as
start
soon as
over?
I finish Bob's Burgers, I just start from the beginning again.
Okay, but again, for the people, Kampy is a background show watcher.
Yeah.
So she's not like sitting down and
like,
watching.
Also, to be fair, my job right now is literally just a lot of like data entry, copy paste. So
Yeah.
I can do that at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah. Bob's Burgers is always on, and then it's Always Sunny, Imposters, and Dirk Gently. Those are the 3 shows that I will rewatch once a year.
Wow, that's I don't do that. I rewatch I rewatch episodes a lot. I'll be like, oh, I want to like this one random episode of Doctor Who that's stuck in my brain. I'm going to watch it right now.
See, I can't do that.
Yeah, or Leverage or whatever. Yeah. I will just like pick one.
Because I'm so much of a completionist that I'm like, if I'm going to watch.
You really are.
An
it's
episode,
really bad.
I need to rewatch the whole thing.
It's really bad, you guys. This is why it's taken her so long to get through Doctor Who.
Right, because I have to rewatch it every time I start it again.
It's not good. No. Yeah. But here we are, talking about imposters.
Hey, this is why we make a good podcast team, though, because we're opposites.
We got to check each other. It's true.
All right, so getting into the show. If you don't know what it is, IMDb description is a dark comedy that focuses on a female con artist who marries people and then disappears with their money.
Yeah.
That's the basic setup.
Yeah.
The show for season 1 in and of itself is about some of her ex-spouses chasing her down and trying to find her. And season 1 really evolves and develops into something completely chaotic and different, but
I am already getting that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, we might explore that towards the end of this podcast episode. Creators, Paul Adelstein and Adam Brooks, starring Imbar Lavi, Rob Heaps, Parker Young, and Marianne Redden. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Sure.
I am so sorry.
All good.
And this aired on Bravo.
Yeah.
Of all networks.
Yeah. It is a strange one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
But, you know, you'll get some dark horses from, like, Bravo. What was another one? I guess AMC has Breaking Bad, so you can't say it's a dark horse.
I feel like
But there's, like, a couple other networks where it's, like, you wouldn't expect something like crazy awesome to come out of it, but every once in a while.
And this show definitely is like it goes hard, and it's like there's no reason for it to be this good.
Yeah.
And it is.
I do love those. Yeah.
So the episode we're watching is season 1, episode 2, My Balls, Dickhead.
That is the actual episode.
That's the name of the episode.
I mean, you got some good ones between Poops, I Didn't Do It Again, and this one.
I know how to pick them. What can I say? So I'm going to recap episode 1 because it is the setup for episode 2.
Yeah, and they did give you a little previously on.
Yeah, there was a little previously on. And I'll probably have to revisit a couple of previously on things just to make sure our bases are covered.
Sure.
Quick recap of the first episode. Ezra Bloom is married to Ava, his dream girl. On the day of their 5th month anniversary, she disappears with all of his money and leaves a threatening message that if him or his family try to go to the police, their darkest secrets will be made public. So after toiling in depression for some time, Ezra gets a surprise visit from someone from the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
They did show that clip in the previously on, and it did make me laugh.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm like, oh, this guy's dumb.
Dumb himbo.
Yeah.
Richard Evans is not from the FBI. He is a previous husband of this Ava. And so they decide to team up and try to find her. Meanwhile, our con artist and her crew are moving to Seattle for a new mark. All right. That's the setup.
Can we quick do everyone's real names? So we got Ezra and Richard.
Ezra, Richard. At the end of the episodes, her name is Jules. We'll get there.
Yeah. Okay.
She's actually my
did not
favorite
get her
character.
Name. Okay. Yep.
It's kind of a shame that
and then Maddie.
Maddie. So
con artist.
The
lady.
con artist group is Maddie, who is like the young one that marries everybody.
Right.
And then her collaborators are Max.
Yep.
He's
Max,
the older guy.
Older guy.
And then Sal or Sally, the older woman.
Cool.
And so Maddie.
It's just the 3 of them.
Yeah, it's just, well.
At this point.
You get hints that they're working for somebody.
Oh, yeah. I got some comments on that.
Yeah. So Maddie went by Ava when she was married to Ezra. And she went by Alice when she was married to Richard.
Yep.
Currently, with her new mark, she goes by Saffron. Saffron Keys.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to keep track of. I will do my best to try and make it as clear as possible.
Yeah, unlike you, I I like to know everyone's real name. I really appreciate that you give people the fake names, but it's not
totally
my
fair.
thing.
I mean, I just can't keep track of names well.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, all right. For the most part, I will refer to Maddie as Saffron.
Yeah, cool.
Just for clarity throughout this episode.
I have Saffron mostly in my notes as well.
And when I use one of her other names, I'm going to put heavy air quotes on it as vocally as I can.
Yeah, you'll just have to imagine that.
Yes. All right. So, our opening scene is Saffron putting on some glasses, standing in front of a mirror, practicing her poses, saying, "Mr. Heller, hi, I'm Saffron Keys." Repositioning herself, "Mr. Heller, I'm Saffron." Right? Yeah. She's trying different things out. She's rehearsing in front of a mirror. She references a packet of information on Mr. Heller, her mark. So it gives, his finances.
He makes $300K a year.
Yeah. Has $2 million in savings.
Yeah.
Status, currently single, and you get a little more information. His wife left him 2 years ago for the pool boy, or not his wife, his fiance.
His fiance, yeah.
Yeah, so she basically has, and there's more papers underneath it. There's like a whole dossier of information on this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of the notes say like, see attached photo. Like they've been doing surveillance on this guy for a while. Yeah.
And they have a lot of research on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this opening scene and like her trying out the different voices and then like looking at her notes and then be like thinking about it and then like going back and doing a different voice. I was like, okay, yep,
and that's one thing I think throughout this episode you get a lot of, and one thing that Imbar Lavi does so well is she puts on the different characters.
Her voice work is
so
incredible.
Fluidly.
Incredible.
Yeah. Because we'll get flashbacks to when she's Ava with Ezra, and when we only get a picture of her when she's Alice with Richard. But yeah, like you can see her shift as she's getting into character.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah.
All right. So next scene, we're at the bank, and Saffron walks into Mr. Heller's office for an interview for a job. He initially looks a little taken aback because she is hot as fuck.
Yep. And like, I'm sure she gets that a lot.
But he collects his thoughts and he says that he is looking for a new assistant.
Conveniently.
What?
Conveniently,
of course. She immediately interrupts him though, and says, "I thought I was here selling Girl Scout cookies. Would you like to try one? They're quite good." And he like doesn't get it at first, and she's like smiling, and then he's like, "Oh, you're being funny.
Yeah,
you're funny. All right." Like he's not amused. And then she says, "Glad I'm funny. I get adorable, cute, hot, black."
Yeah.
Like she's putting on like the really kind of bimbo,
like ditzy,
kind of act. Yeah, he asks what brings her to Seattle, and she says she's a free spirit. She likes to try new places, new faces. He's like, "Well, I don't think that's a thing in banking." To which she's like, "I can be serious."
Yeah, that was fun. Also, that was like one of the lines she was practicing in the mirror.
That was one of them.
So I appreciated that she actually used the line that she was practicing.
Yeah, you can like see how much effort goes into the con.
Yeah.
Like it's not just something that they throw themselves into.
Right.
There's a lot of work into it. It's her job. But yeah, basically they're going back and forth. He makes another comment about her being funny. And she says, "You keep flattering me like that. Who knows what'll happen in this office?" She's coming on to him.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Kind of strong.
And he immediately loses his shit.
Yeah.
In a serious way. Do you want to describe what happens here? Because I'm curious as to your interpretation since I've seen this so much.
I mean, I don't remember the exact outburst, but it is an outburst. Like he gets visibly angry at her. Do you have the actual line written down?
The only line I wrote down is, "You think I've never fucked a pretty girl in my life before?"
Yeah. Like, it gets serious real quick. And at this point, I was like, oh, shit, did she overstep? Did she go too far?
Yeah, because it certainly seems like it. And he kicks her out of the office.
Yeah.
And the look on her face, too, is kind of like,
she's like, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not good for a sec.
No. But being the impeccable professional con artist that she is, she makes a comment on her way out. "Boy, someone must have really done a number on you."
Yeah.
And this gets his attention. And so she makes a whole little speech about how he was obviously hurt by someone, and so was she, but she made the choice not to let it define her, and that she's not going to be mistrustful or mistrustable or mistrusting, whatever that stupid word is. Again, putting on the ditzy act.
Yeah. But like with a touch more seriousness.
Yeah.
Like a touch more authority. Because she's trying to tell him something.
Yeah, and he laughs at, like, it brings his guard down. He laughs at her stumbling over the words.
Yep.
And she even says, don't you laugh at me. Don't you make fun of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, she's ditzy. She's a little ditzy. She's a little bubbly. But she clearly has a side of her that's like, no. Yeah. I am going to stand up for myself.
It's a nice balancing act.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real good.
And yeah, that's enough for him to lower his guard and apologize and then offer her the job.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
She got him.
But he makes it clear before they close the deal that he is a very untrusting person. Mm-hmm. Okay. What are your vibes you're picking up?
The anger threw me for a loop a bit. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know. At this point, I was like, dude's a mark. You know? Like, he's getting played. And he says he's not trusting, but this girl clearly knows what she's doing, so...
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so next scene. Ezra and Richard are pulling up in a car. And Richard is a bit of a himbo. He's like...
Big time.
Ex-football player. He's got one of those... What's the line from Doctor Who? You got a jaw that could, like, cut paper or something.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he's got a great jawline, like chiseled. He's like your all-American boy.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of... Actually, you know what he reminds me of? The guy who's going to be in the new Twisters movie.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of looks like him.
He does, doesn't he?
I don't remember that guy's name.
I don't either. It's not the same actor because I have seen this actor in other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ezra looks so cute in this.
Ezra looks like a 12-year-old.
I'm like, he's adorable. He's a little baby.
He's cute, but there are times where I'm like, I don't know, man.
So Ezra has a very boyish face.
Yeah.
Much more lean built, and he's wearing like really nice dress pants and a pullover sweater. Like he looks a bit like a dweeb.
Yeah. I mean, he is a dweeb.
He is a dweeb.
Did we establish that in episode 1? That he's kind of dweeby?
Yeah, he's a dweeb.
Yeah.
He's a big, like, romantic...
Yeah,
hearts in his eyes kind of a boy. But Richard, himbo, says 15 months, 2,000 miles, and I finally found her. Mm-hmm. And Ezra's like 5.5 weeks and 9 miles, and I finally found her.
Yeah.
So they're walking up to a spy shop, which was Ezra's idea.
But so real quick, this is implying that they've been working together for 5 weeks? Or did they still just meet each other?
They probably just... It's not clear on the timeline, but they clearly just met each other recently.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
And what was established in the first episode is one of the things that they did do was go to a shop where they paid a guy to try and find as much information on this girl as possible, using a photo that Richard had of Alice and a photo that Ezra had of Ava. I hope the air quotes worked.
Those were your air quotes, if you couldn't tell.
So yeah, they go into the spy shop. It's funny too because Richard's like, "I'm gonna take Alice back to Scottsdale."
Oh my god, I wrote that down.
Yeah, he says like this thing with my pinky.
He says, "I'm gonna take her ass back to Scottsdale," and I laughed so hard. It was funny.
But I think this little moment is a nice insight into the two because Richard wants Alice back.
Yeah.
When he asks Ezra, well, one more night with Ava, wouldn't you take it? Mm-hmm. And Ezra's response is, there is no Ava. I just want to know who she really is.
Yeah.
So you can see the mindset of the two characters and what their motivations might be. Right. So in the spy shop, they're looking through a file, but all the information's redacted. Mm-hmm. There's a new picture of her in there. So he clearly found the right person. Mm. But where's her address? Where's her phone? Where's any of that stuff? And the guy running the shop says $5,000 to get the unredacted information. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, we already paid you $1,000. Like, come on. And so instead, the shop owner just pulls out a shotgun on them. Yeah, and basically like, come back with $5,000 or don't come back at all.
Yeah, I do want to say the line because I also laughed.
Yes, go ahead. Go for it.
The guy with the shotgun's like, do you see my titties? And they're both like, what? No, what? No.
No.
And the guy goes, that's right, bitches, because I ain't your mama. And I was like, what? What is with this dude?
It is one of the most out there lines.
Yeah, there were a few times where I was like, this could have been rewritten.
Yeah, I will admit, there are a few moments, this is one of them, where the show is kind of like, oof.
Yeah.
And there are a few actors that are like poor choices, but I'm assuming it's because they spent the money on all the other actors who are literally drop dead gorgeous.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was wild, but moving on.
Basically, Ezra, Richard need to come up with $5,000. So they're going to have a yard sale. Yay. They're going to sell literally everything inside of Ezra's house.
Yeah.
And according to Richard's calculations, they should clear 7 to 10K, no problem. And he's basically like Richard's basically telling Ezra, stay out of my way.
Right.
Let me do my thing.
Let me be a used car salesman.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he was a car salesman, so he's like getting into salesman mode. He does ask Ezra, though, if there's anything he wants to save. And Ezra's committed to sell it all.
Yeah.
Get rid of all of it. Which, again, I think is a nice little insight into Ezra's character. He's ready to basically purge or shed his old life. He's getting ready to evolve.
Yeah. Okay.
Move on.
Sure.
You get a little nice montage of the sale that's going on. Good shot of the house with the foreclosed, owned by bank sign, so you know how bad it is for him. And Ezra's just sitting there pouting.
Yeah, it's a weird montage.
Yeah.
This scene. There's several montages in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this one's because he's like half asleep.
Yeah, he like falls asleep.
He like falls asleep, so like half the time it feels like the garage sale is like a weird lucid dream he's having.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it just struck me as kind of an odd choice, but I don't know. Did that do anything for you? Like I was like, why do it this way? You know what I mean?
I don't know. For me, I think it's still like Ezra is still in this place that he can't believe this is where his life is now.
Oh, okay.
Of just like,
okay,
so much has changed so rapid. He literally went from being the happiest he's ever been in his whole life to his entire world falling out from underneath him.
So this does feel like a weird dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah.
And as he's dozing off in one of the chairs out on the lawn, he hears Richard and a woman talking about a dress, glances over and he sees it. And he has a vision of Ava standing in front of him wearing the dress. Just kind of spinning around. She's like, you bought me this dress, Ezra. In like a Belgian accent. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, you say Belgium. I hear French. I can't tell. I don't know what the difference is.
I don't know either. It is established that she was Belgium.
Okay.
At one point. I don't know when.
In the pilot, I would imagine.
Yeah. But basically, he was always in love with France. He always wanted to move to France. He spoke French. And then he meets this Belgium girl who's his dream girl. That was part of the fantasy that was created for him. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
The accent's good.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, the vision of Ava in front of him is like, don't you want to keep the dress? Keep a little reminder of me. Mm-hmm. And instead he gets up, walks over to the woman who's looking at the dress and is like, take it for free. It's yours. I want it gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, another sign that he's like trying to rid himself.
Yeah, and I did appreciate that they do, like at first he kind of, when he gets up, they do kind of make you think like, oh, he's gonna take it. Mm-hmm. He's gonna take it back. And then he says, nope, that one's free. You have that. And I was like, okay, cool.
We get a nice little update from Richard.
Yeah.
79% of the inventory's gone. And they only made 12% of projection.
I wrote that down too. I appreciated that. He's like, what the hell, man?
I mean, selling cars. It's easier. I don't know.
Yeah, and when he first made the like 7,500 to 10K projection, I was like, absolutely not. Like a garage sale, like you're making $500 if you're lucky.
He was so confident though. You didn't trust him?
He was very confident. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not doing so great on this sale. Ezra's mom shows up with his brother, who is the alpha beta, a guy who thinks he's an alpha but is really a beta.
Yeah.
And him and Ez have a quick conversation. There's no need to get into it. His brother's kind of a dick.
Yeah, they're just kind of fighting about like what he should do.
Yeah.
What Ezra should do.
And his brother's not wrong. Like if you think about what his brother actually says, not just in this episode, but other episodes, and like his behavior, like he is the logical straight man.
Right. He's like, let this go.
He is the voice of reason. Yeah. But of course, because this is a drama TV show, I fucking hate him.
Yeah. Well, and he is kind of being a dick about it.
He is. Yeah. He doesn't say things in the best way.
Yeah.
Basically, though, Ezra's mom showed up because they don't understand why Ezra wants to leave and go find her.
Yeah.
They want to try and help him out of the situation. And so one of the things that she wants to do is give him a check for $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and she says like his dad is mad at him about this, but his dad cut the check.
Yeah.
For him.
And that's important to maybe note too, is the whole family works together.
Right. So, family business.
Yeah. It's a family run business. It's like Bloom Shoes and something.
Okay. Cool. I couldn't remember what. Yeah.
Some
what
kind of shoe business.
Okay.
So yeah, they all work together in the same office. And when all this happened, Ezra quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the family is kind of mad at him, but she wants to give him the check for $5,000 and he turns it down. So she sees an old stuffed rabbit sitting on a chair nearby, assumed to be like a, stuffy that you go to bed with or something. And she's like, Pinky, you can't sell Binky. That's got to stay in the family.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'll give it to you. And she's like, okay, good. I'll give you $5,000 for
it. Yeah, because he wouldn't take the check.
Yeah. And it's very sweet. And he does turn her down. And I like this. She doesn't fight him. She's just like, all right.
She sort of fought him by trying to sneak that in there. And he's like, nice try. And then she backs off.
I think it's sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. I did think that this was one of the dialogue exchanges in this episode where I was like, this felt a little bit like reading lines to me.
Yeah. But like I said, there are some rough points.
It's fine.
All right. Any comments on the yard sale?
Nope.
Yeah.
It was funny. Kind of. It was weird. But
it was a thing.
We established that they both suck at selling things.
They do suck at selling things, and they are trying to get money an honest way.
Right now. For the moment.
It doesn't last long.
No.
All right, so we're now back to Heller. We are inside his home, and he's looking at a website for Black Sea babes. It's like Russian, Ukrainian, Turkish. It's a mail order bribe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, is he? So wait. So he has that window open, but then he's also like making a dating profile. At the same time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He's lonely.
Yeah.
Doorbell rings and a maid shows up. We don't get her name, but spoiler alert, it's Sally.
Yeah.
One of the con artists.
Which we met her before, right?
You see her in the first episode.
Yeah, at the end.
You see her and Max with Maddie at the end of the first episode as they're getting their new mark.
Cool, yeah. Because I made a note of like, is she on the crew? Like,
yeah. I kind of like that it's a little ambiguous at first.
A little bit. Like if you didn't remember from the first episode.
Yeah.
And this would have been airing weekly, right? So you might not have remembered that it was her. Yeah.
And it's kind of nice too, as you see like the different ways all three of them slowly infiltrate his life without him noticing, right?
Yeah, totally.
And we're back at the bank. We get a nice little bank montage.
Yeah.
Second montage.
I really liked the bank montage.
Yeah. You want to run me through it?
I didn't write down the whole thing.
Okay, all right, cool.
That's your job.
All right, but no, all right. I'm just, So yeah, we get a bank montage. First day at the bank, she's meeting people. Heller particularly glances over at her as she's meeting the youngest member of the staff, and he's like, also the hottest. She's like, until now, bitch.
I did really like that part. I was like, oh, I like that she knows she's hot. And then I amended that to being like, oh, the character knows she's hot. Yeah, the character she's playing knows she's hot. She also knows his coffee order.
She does.
Apparently without him telling her, is what it seems like.
Exactly.
Because she's just like, he's like, coffee, get me coffee. Walks into his office. And then she's like, oh, milk and 2 sugars or whatever.
Yep.
And he just kind of looks at her like, oh, cool. I didn't even have to tell you that.
Yeah. We see her bringing him his mail, and there's a Dart magazine on there. She installs something on his computer, and she messes around with one of his pens.
Yes.
Later, his pen explodes all over his shirt. Oh no, what's he gonna do? Oh, she had picked up his dry cleaning earlier that day.
She got him new shirts.
New shirts?
Yeah.
And then suddenly his computer goes down and is freaking out. And she brings in the new IT guy.
Right.
Spoiler, it's Max.
Yeah.
Another one of the con artists. And we end the montage with Saffron walking out into the rain and Heller coming up behind her and opening his umbrella as they walk arm in arm down the rainy Seattle streets together.
Yeah. And she, when we first see her, also, she has an umbrella with her, right? And she puts it in her bag real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Puts it in her bag, so then he has to offer his umbrella.
She's smart.
Oh, yeah. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was very much the leverage competence porn section. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a great way to explain it.
Yeah. It was just like they're on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, part of what makes this whole show so much fun is you have the 3 professional con artists. And like, it's so enjoyable to watch them work.
Fuck yeah, man.
But they're not the only 3 who are professionals in this or become professionals in this.
Okay.
I'm not going to say too much. So next scene is a very quick scene between Ezra and Gabby. Gabby is one of the other people who works at the company with his family. She's always had a thing for Ezra. In the first episode, right after Ava leaves, she tries to hook up with him and it goes bad because he wants her to speak in an accent.
Yeah, it was not good. Like when they were running through it, when they were referencing it, I was like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah. It was not fun.
It's like a very awkward scene.
Extremely.
Yeah. And this scene too is kind of awkward. I'm going to skip past most of it. The point is she tells him to keep the book that he brought to return to her.
Yep.
Tells him to read page 35. And then she makes the comment, $5,000, that's a real bargain. He's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I thought it was really nice to let your mom keep Binky.
Yeah.
The wheels are starting to turn. Yeah. What do you mean? I didn't take the 5,000.
Yeah.
Who did?
I do think this is there is like a minor comedy thing about this, that she's like in a cheese making class.
Yeah, she is.
For no reason, apparently. She's just like, oh, I need a new hobby. But yeah, like they're talking, and then like the lady who's running the class like is like, okay, break's over, and I was like, oh, break's over, buddy, time to go make cheese.
You
like,
gotta interrupt her love confession.
Yeah, it just like struck me as really funny.
Yeah.
But
it's fun, like choosing like the setting and like how you can undermine serious moments just through setting alone.
Yeah. I did appreciate also in this scene that he looked very apologetic towards her, which he should be,
right?
Because he was not cool towards her.
Tornado of a life, got taken out on her.
Yeah. And she makes a comment like, oh, I needed to get away from blooms for a while. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, I can relate to that. I was like, cool. So I kind of like her. I hope she is in future episodes.
One.
Literally one.
I think only one other future
man.
episode. Sorry. She is put forth though as the alternate love interest.
I would imagine.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I think too it's like it's a good scene to show that like Ezra is at heart a good guy and like does genuinely feel bad about hurting other people,
right?
And like wants to do the right thing.
Yeah.
All right, so who took the $5,000? One guess.
The other dude,
Richard, the hot guy. So yeah, he takes the $5,000 and he goes to the spy shop. I love this scene so much.
It's pretty good. I did enjoy it.
So as much of a himbo as Richard can be, he's got some stuff he can flex, and it's not just muscles. He walks in very calmly to the shop and has the $5,000, throws it at the owner. Owner flips through and says, 5,000. Pretty damn sure it said 7,500.
Dick
move. Dick move for a dick with titties.
A dick with no titties.
He got man titties. Richard, still very calm.
Yep.
Says, and I'm pretty damn sure you said 5,000. And ow.
Yep.
What? Boom!
Bam.
Richard just clocked him
Yep.
across the face with a nice punch, and then calmly reaches behind the counter, grabs the shotgun, and cocks it in one fluid motion.
One hand, right?
Yeah, all with one hand.
Yeah, I did appreciate that. Like he punches the guy, and immediately reaches over the counter to grab the gun.
Yeah.
I was like, correct move. Like he
went
had
in
to think
with a
about that.
plan.
Yeah, exactly. He basically knew that was going to happen.
Yep, and I like that because as much of a himbo as Richard is sometimes, again, he's not all just air up there.
Yeah. He's like 90% air.
90%
But
air
like
with
10% of the time,
a couple of good ideas.
he comes through.
Yeah. Okay, we get the great line and the title of the episode. He says, knock, knock. And the guy's on the ground as he's starting to get up. Who's there? My balls, dickhead.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's got the intel. He's going to go find Alice.
I will say he then like immediately undercuts this entire scene by walking outside and be like, yes, okay,
like punching the air, like walks past a hot woman, suddenly collects himself.
It's like, hey.
As soon as she passes, yeah.
I was like, bro, you were so cool a second ago.
Yeah, he's excited. He's got the info. He's gonna find Alice. He gets to the car. Oh, that's gross. Someone had put gum all over the keyhole.
Yeah.
And so he's like
big old wad of gum.
trying to figure out how he can get the gum off the keyhole with the key, and Ezra walks into frame with gum in his mouth.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah. They basically fight. Ezra is mad at Richard, one for going behind his back and taking the money from his mom.
Yeah.
But also because he's convinced that Richard was going to ditch him.
Right.
Yeah. And Richard punches
as
back.
though he has some trauma about being
I
abandoned.
wonder why.
Okay, continue.
And Richard fights back, and he's basically like, you need to do whatever it takes. If you really want to find her, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes.
Like, take your parents' money, man. Whatever.
Yeah. But it's established at this point they don't really trust each other.
No.
But they're
clearly not.
They're in it together.
Yeah.
And so begins the road trip.
Yeah.
710 miles to go. They know where she is. They are going to go find her.
There's a joke about Chris Martin and Coldplay.
I love it. Yeah, they start playing Coldplay.
And like, is it Ezra or Richard? That's
Richard
like,
starts.
He starts playing it, and Ezra's just like, "What? Come on!"
Yeah, like really this, and Richard's like, "Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't be that guy that doesn't think Chris Martin has it all together."
Yeah, which I was like, that was a weird joke, but I laughed.
I'm like, I like it. I like it. I get it, man.
Yeah, it's Viva La Vida playing in the background.
Right.
You're like, oh, it's 2017. Actually,
that
that song was old even for 2017.
Even then, it was old.
Yeah, that's like way older.
So
Never
I
mind.
remember jamming out to that in high school.
Yeah, right.
Any thoughts on Richard and Ezra?
You know, they're building the buddy cop routine.
It is a buddy cop
A
vibe.
little bit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I'm here for it.
All right. Back in Seattle, Saffron enters the coffee shop, and there's a hot guy there that takes notice of her. All right. So back in episode 1,
okay,
we did meet this guy. She met him at this coffee shop.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. And they just, at that point, they made small talk, were a little flirtatious. Nothing really happened.
Okay, cool. I was so weirded out in this scene because I was like, why am I like having deja vu right now? Like, have I seen this before? No, it was just a very similar scene in the pilot that I watched like a year ago.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, this hot guy, his name is Patrick. Very tall, handsome gentleman, nice beefy muscles. And I just want to point out again, everyone in this show is so fucking hot.
Yep. Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
This man is the first black man we've seen in this show, I would say. Almost everyone's white.
Yeah. We do meet his family later, so we get a little more diversity. But yeah, he asked her to stay at the coffee shop because she was going to get a to-go order, and asked her to sit with him.
Yep.
And there's some flirtation. They start talking. What we learn about Patrick is that he went to Princeton, got into tech, which is why he's in Seattle, created an algorithm for his senior thesis, and sold it.
Yeah. He gives like the most generic explanation of an algorithm I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
It's like, it predicts behavior
Yeah.
to serve people ads better. Like, no shit.
It's specifically for people who want to get married and who are looking to
I thought
get
he was just
married.
using that as an example.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
think this was his algorithm.
Oh, Well, I guess that is slightly more specific.
Yeah. So it's like if you're a guy who's looking online at different engagement rings. They would sell that information to DJs and, you know, wedding dress, I don't know, like different companies that could advertise to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's for marketing.
He's like, it kind of helps the market to, and Saffron finishes his sentence, take advantage of just how predictable human behavior is. I wonder if these two have something in common. So yeah, they flirt a little bit, continue talking. He invites her to a barbecue that he's going to be hosting that weekend. And as he's inviting her, in the window, she sees the new tech guy, which is Max, one of her collaborators. And immediately her whole demeanor changes.
Yep.
She gets very rigid. She's like, her face drops and she immediately turns him down for this barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Max walks into the shop, is introduced as Florence. And she looks really nervous. She introduces Patrick as just a friend that she met. Patrick gets up. Well, no, sorry. I got to make this comment first. Patrick says, IT guys, as he's looking at Florence, Max, he says, you got to watch out for those guys. They know where the bodies are buried.
I wrote that shit down. I was like, what bodies are we talking about?
And Saffron gives a very nervous,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this is the first moment we've seen her get flustered at all, like on the job. So yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah. And Patrick goes to leave and he does hand Saffron his number. Any thoughts on Patrick?
There are so many men. Do you know what I mean though? Like, there are so many dudes.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys to keep track of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had my whole crisis about like, am I remembering? Did I see this already? Am I like remembering this weird? There's definitely, I mean, we'll get into it, I think, a little bit more later when she learns the story from the other woman on the crew about what happened to her. I feel like I'm just vaguely suspicious of everyone at this point. The look you're giving me tells me that's the right thing to be.
It's good to be suspicious. Yeah. I think I set you up on the last podcast episode saying like, question everybody.
Question everyone.
Question everyone's motives and everyone's like face that they put forward.
Yeah. I'm suspicious.
Totally fair. You should be, of everybody.
I mean, especially the bodies comment.
Right.
Knowing where the bodies are. I was like, bro, that came out of nowhere.
Also, okay, I work in tech, y'all. I've worked with a lot of like IT hardcore tech bros. They don't know shit about where the bodies are buried.
They don't know nothing. They don't know the tea.
They know their computer stuff and they're damn good at it, but they don't even know how to socialize.
Yeah.
They don't know where the bodies are.
Yeah.
I love you, tech bros.
It was a weird conversation.
It was,
but yeah,
it was.
It definitely tripped my trigger.
Probably good. Back to the road trip.
Road trip, baby.
Road trip. 426 miles to go. They're not even halfway there, and at the rate they're going through gas and snacks, we need to eat every 2 hours to maintain optimal performance.
I did write that down, and I laughed. It was funny.
You gotta love a himbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, all they have is $213.12.
Yes.
I had a quick count that.
Is there a thing about 12 in this show?
No, not that I know of.
Interesting. It's the second time they've said the number 12.
Huh.
There's 12 cents, and then earlier he said we've only made 12% of our projections.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
Just out of curiosity.
Maybe the writers, maybe it's important to them.
It's like somebody's lucky number.
Yeah, like wasn't there like a Pixar thing where they put a like A113 and everything?
Maybe.
Because it was
probably
in a room at like the one university they all went to. They all had class in this one room.
That sounds right.
And so
I
it's
don't know.
Every single Pixar movie. If you don't believe me, look it up.
I like it.
All right, yeah, but basically they don't have enough money to get them all the way to where they're going.
Which we don't know where they're going exactly.
Well, they're going to find Alice/Ava.
Right. We don't know the actual location. We know how many miles away it's taking them.
Mm-hmm. Well, where do you think they're going at this point?
I don't know. They're wait, because where did they start out from?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Is Seattle 700 miles away from Ohio?
Hold on. 2,390 miles.
So that's a big no. So I'm thinking they're going in the complete opposite direction. Like somewhere towards the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because, okay, we'll talk about it. We'll get there later.
All right.
Yeah.
But they're heading towards Ava/Alice/Saffron.
Last known location according to their file.
According to the dossier that they
Yeah.
have. Yes. So they have to get smart about how they're going to get money.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at a shopping center. Ezra's coming out. You get a great line from Richard. What, I can't buy protein shakes, but we can buy books?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Ezra's bought them books on conning.
Yeah.
Short cons. Yeah.
I wrote, oh no, they're going to learn how to con.
They're going to learn how to con. And they're watching a John Cusack movie called The Grifters to
Hell
study.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In the car, it's adorable.
In the car on their phone.
On the phone.
Yeah.
It's cute. They're building a relationship.
Feels like a movie we should watch.
Right?
Like,
We should.
why
I
haven't
love
we...
John Cusack movies,
Yeah.
so
Sounds great.
add it to the list. So the first con that Richard and Ezra are going to pull, the classic bait and switch. So they're at a gas station, and we get a voiceover that says the key is to pick the right unsuspecting target. Mm-hmm. And they're both very uncertain about this whole thing they're going to do, right? And Richard's like, I don't know, man, this doesn't feel right. They're watching a family get out of a car, and he's like, a guy and his family? That would make us just as bad as ... Ava. And Ezra says, well, one of the books says you can't cheat an honest man. And it's like there's people who set themselves up to be taken because they're greedy or they're selfish or they're mean, right? Mm-hmm. They're trying to justify what they're about to do here. Mm-hmm. So they decide to write a code of the code of conning.
They say we can't just steal from normal people. And I wrote, I'm sorry, this is leverage.
This is why you would love this show, Amanda.
Like, come on.
You need to watch the whole thing. They come up with a code. So
I hope you're going to read the whole list, though, because I love the list.
No old people.
No old people.
No kids. No people who look sad.
No people who look sad. Yeah.
No nice moms or dads.
No.
Or anyone who's limping.
Anyone who's limping.
No babies.
Yeah. Richard, screams, no babies.
And they're like, okay, well, what does that leave us with? Conveniently, an asshole starts honking his horn at an old woman as she's trying to cross the gas station parking lot. And they both simultaneously say, assholes. So they're about to pull the bait and switch. Asshole pulls up to a gas pump and is starting to get his car ready, pulls out his credit card, puts it in the machine. Richard walks up with a map in his hands and, excuse me, sir, flapping the map around.
A completely unfolded map. The full map is out and he's trying to get it in this guy's face.
Yeah, excuse me, can you help me with directions? Flapping map. So he draws the guy's attention.
Never mind that GPS exists in 2017.
I know. There's a couple of things in this, even the car with the gum on it, and he's trying to get the gum.
Yeah, I know. I'm why didn't you boop
your fob, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some dated things in this.
Yeah. They're we're just pretending this is real.
You gotta go with the reality of this universe.
Yeah,
which is more fun.
Which is fine.
Yeah. So he's distracting the asshole with the map, and Ezra, from the other side, sneaks around and pulls the credit card out of the machine and puts it into there so they can start pumping gas. But if you've ever pumped gas at a gas station not at home, you're asked to put in a zip code.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's what it was. I was I wasn't sure. I was did he need a pin or what was going on?
He needed the zip. So he starts freaking out and he's trying to signal to Richard, it's off. It's off, man. It's not going to work.
Over the top of the gas machine. And he's freaking out.
Yep. And so Ezra goes to put the credit card back into the original machine when the asshole turns around.
The guy just straight up turns around.
Sees it happening. He's like, what's going on? Sorry, I'm laughing so hard. I love Richard's reaction specifically because they're trying to recover and they realize they're God. So they're just okay, we're going to give it up. And Richard just goes, oh my God, an American eagle.
Yeah, that was good. Ezra has a line too of you should be more careful with your credit card.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. Yeah.
But the asshole turns around to look at the American Eagle. Richard opens up the passenger side door before running. And Ezra actually smacks the credit card out of the guy's hand at the ground. And so they both take off.
Yeah.
So this guy has to pick up his credit card and then he turns around to chase after Richard, but the passenger is open. So he runs into the passenger door.
Right. They like came up with a couple of things on the fly to help them get away.
So even though they're shit con artists,
they're so bad.
They're so bad.
They suck.
They're still a little clever. They got some savvy in them. Yeah. So they get in the car, they peel away as this guy is chasing after them, and Richard just goes, "That did not go well." Ezra yells, "I know, I was there."
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
It's fun. It's a good moment. Their first con does not go well. All right, so we're back in Seattle at what I am probably the most jealous of anything. This boathouse.
Yeah.
Oh, this boathouse. It's covered in fairy lights. It looks amazing. It looks super cozy. They're drinking wine.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we know who this belongs to?
This, I believe, is where Max is currently living.
Interesting.
Which boathouses in Seattle are not easy to come by anymore.
I would not imagine they are.
You have to have like a token. Sorry, this is like complete. I'll cut this.
Hey.
Yeah, you have to have a token. So my brother Kyle, one of his friends, had a boathouse in Seattle before the token system. And then like a year later they introduced it and he got grandfathered in. And so his property value like just like
nice.
Straight up.
Cool.
I want a boathouse in Seattle. Anyway.
So the token is like you can't have a boathouse unless you have a token. And you have to inherit one?
Or buy one, I'm assuming.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it's just like a token corresponds to a space to park your boat.
I'm assuming so. Yeah. Cool. I don't know all the details, but I figure that's generally how it works. I just know you need a token to actually have a boathouse.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, now you know that.
Okay, so the boathouse.
Yeah.
We're at Max's boathouse. So the maid, who is Sally, the new IT guy, who is Max, and Saffron, who is Maddie.
Yes.
Right? We have our three.
Got it. Everybody got it. We're good.
Con artists.
Cool.
All right. Yeah. So they're all having drinks. Saffron / Maddie is making fun of their Mark. His big hobby, his big passion is darts.
Yeah.
She clearly disdains this guy. And we get a line from Sally. Am I the only one who thinks there's something off about this job?
I wrote that down.
Caught your attention?
Fuck yeah, it did. I was like, girl, what's wrong?
Right?
Yeah.
What's wrong? And immediately Max is like, the only thing that's off is Maddie's focus.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, what does Sally have to say?
Yeah, no, like she really dropped this line and then we moved on so quick and I was like, no, what's going on?
God damn it. But
Max?
The show is sometimes quite brilliant with that writing of like, we're going to sneak it in and just quickly detour around it.
Yeah.
Yep. Dropping hints.
Yep, I noticed.
So yeah, they talk about how Maddie at the coffee shop was flirting with a hot guy. And Max makes a comment that this job is of special interest to the doctor. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think that means and like what that's all about?
I mean, I laughed because they said the doctor.
Doctor Who?
Yeah. And I was immediately like, come on.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, so they have an overlord, an alien overlord.
Yes.
And
with 2 hearts.
Huh? What?
What?
And yeah, I by the end of this conversation, I was like, oh, so he's like their Charlie from Charlie's Angels, except more sinister. That was the comparison I made in my brain. Does that make any sense to you?
I've never seen Charlie's Angels.
Okay.
But I'm going to say yes.
Charlie's Angels, like, so basically, I mean, you know the premise, right? Like, they're secret agents, and Charlie is their, like, the one who gives them the missions.
Okay.
But they never see him.
Yeah.
They never see him. They don't know his identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Same thing here. They work for a guy called the Doctor. They don't know who he actually is. But he is essentially the kingpin.
Cool. Yeah. And a serious dude, as we're about to find out.
Yeah. So Max asks for Sally to tell Maddie about Tulsa. So Maddie can understand why this hot Patrick guy is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And then we get like this like nice little smooth jazz, like sexy saxophone flashback. It's like got a real film noir kind of vibe.
I wrote what's with the noir music?
I love it. I love it. I love the shift.
Yeah.
So Sally tells her story. About 10 years ago, they were working on a con down in Tulsa, real estate. And she met this guy.
A long game.
A long game. Yeah. And she met this guy, and this line breaks my heart so much. Sometimes you get a taste of real life and it seems pretty all right.
Yep.
It hurts.
It was a good line.
It's a good line. Yeah, so she fell in love with this guy, and one night she comes back to her hotel room, and he is tied down to a chair, bloody, cut up, and I think there's another guy in the room.
A lackey.
Yeah, like being all threatening. And yeah, so and she looks horrified. So you basically get this idea that, and as she says, anybody not in the life, anybody not like us is a liability. And yeah, if you really care about those people, you stay away, basically, is the point.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she makes the comment about how sweet Max was there to put her back together. Yeah. So we know Sally and Max have a very long history.
They go way back
together. Yeah.
Yeah. I did wonder at this point, like, okay, so we get the doctor is pulling the strings in the background, right? But then I did wonder, do any of them sort of have seniority as far as like being in charge of the team?
Yeah.
Is it Max?
It's Max.
Okay, cool. I figured. Interesting. Yeah, I also had the thought while they're telling this story, and I don't think this is the case now, but I did have the thought of like, oh, are they feeding her a lie to tell, like, to get her to give up this guy? Like is
telling
this
Maddie this story on purpose?
Right, like making this shit up to...
They could be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you never can trust anything that they say.
You said suspect everyone. I suspect everyone.
So it is totally possible that they're feeding her lines to get her in line.
Yeah. I mean, after we went through the whole scene, I was like less on that train. But at first I was like, when he was like, tell her about Tulsa. And I was like, this feels like a setup.
Yeah. No. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I have always read it as being a genuine story.
Yeah.
Because like the doctor, as he's portrayed throughout the show, is the type of person who would do something like that. But also knowing the other two characters in this scene, Sal and Max, I would also totally believe they made it up.
Yeah. I do really like the idea that they go way back and that Maddie is like more of a newer addition to their team, and newer in the sense of like what, I don't know, the last
couple
5
years.
years.
Yeah,
because if she's bamboozled Richard, Ezra, and the character we meet at the end of this
spoilers
episode, then I feel like it has to have been at least 3 to 5 years.
Right. Yeah.
I would go with 5. Even though they don't seem to take breaks, which is crazy to me.
No, they
like,
just jump from one to the next.
Yeah, like they're not in the wind for a while post, like, I would have thought, like, I mean, obviously we got to keep the story moving, so that's why. But I would have thought after Ezra in the pilot, they would, like,
lay low,
chill for a minute.
Nope. As soon as they're done with Ezra, they are immediately assigned the next con.
Which, again, I think just raises even more questions about this doctor guy and, like, what his game is, and, like, another thought I had after this scene of like, you know, this flashback of her, Sal, you know, meeting this guy and then him getting beat up. I did also have the thought of like, so how much choice do they really have?
Yeah.
Of what they're doing, and can they ever stop? Can they ever leave? Doesn't really kind of seem like it at this point.
No,
she's giving me a look, y'all. Yeah,
and the reason I'm giving you a look, and I'll say this, like I'll spoil a little bit of it.
Sure.
That does become a major point in the show, right? Is that they are stuck in this life.
Yeah. Even
if they want out, the doctor will come and kill them. They are stuck doing his bidding, or it's death.
Shit.
Yep.
Cool.
So that becomes a major plot point, not just for season 1, but also pretty much all of season 2.
Right. As I would imagine.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Pub time. So Saffron, we're back to being Saffron at this point. She looks adorable. She's in this cute little dress. I love it.
Yep.
Walks into a pub, very rowdy, very busy. She looks very out of place. And she goes
She's immediately casing the joint.
She is. Oh yeah. Her head's on a little swivel.
Yeah.
She's eyeing everybody up, making sense of the scene.
She's there for business.
Mm-hmm. She walks up to the bar, is greeted by a female bartender, and she puts down what looks like at least $60, maybe more.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Orders a drink, and she tells the bartender, I need a little favor.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hear what the favor is, though.
We do not.
Because she is approached by Freddie.
Another asshole.
Just some dude, bro.
Yeah.
Basically immediately starts hitting on her, wants to buy her a drink, blah, blah, blah. As they're chatting, Mr. Heller walks in.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, wow.
Fancy seeing you here.
Yeah. Huh. And he interrupts Freddie and Saffron. And, what are you doing here, Saffron? Well,
Yeah.
Miss Keys.
Yeah.
I live right around the corner. I'm just getting to know the city. Is this a good place?
Yeah.
Wink. We find out that there's like a dart league there.
Right.
And so there's a dart match that night. Mr. Heller's playing in it, as is Freddie. So
You literally see the dartboards behind her.
Yep.
Yeah. Over her shoulder.
So clearly, yeah, she's doing her job
Duh.
right now. Yeah.
I did also write at this point that, she's talking to this asshole, or, this guy's hitting on her, and Heller interrupts them. And I was like, oh, cool. So she's making him feel like the hero. Mm-hmm. And then I wrote, is the asshole guy on her team?
No.
But I don't think he is. Yeah.
No, he's not.
No.
She knows how to use things to her advantage.
Yeah. I mean,
She sees a window of opportunity.
that was definitely a convenient and like the best timing that could have possibly happened. But, in her defense, like as soon as that guy came up to her, she started playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's like you said, leverage.
Yeah.
Competency
It's
porn.
that competence porn.
Yeah. Like
Gets you every
just
time.
Watching her work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
So we cut to Mr. Heller and Saffron sitting next to each other at one of the tables, and he is explaining the history of darts. And she says, wow, you're a real enthusiast. She gets real breathy in this scene.
Yeah. She's like starting to pretend she's drunk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. And yeah, she's like, they're talking about history, and she's like, oh, I've never really liked history, but I like old movies. Casablanca. That's kind of history, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just being a little ditzy.
He's just looking at her like,
Yeah, but he's digging it.
yeah. He's into it. He's kind of just like, I don't know, bemused.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's
is
a good word
the word
for
I want to
it.
go with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he says, Miss Keys, you are a breath of fresh air.
Right. Calls her
And
breath
then
fresh air.
so smoothly, she pushes him very
Yeah!
gently and playfully on the arm. Call me Saffron. We're not
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
So flirty, but so subtle.
Yeah. Really, really, really good. That is like some Sophie Devereaux level grifting right there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I made note of the shoulder tap. I was like, ooh, got him right there. And yeah, I did also write in this scene, like I said, he is like bemused sort of looking at her, but also he is locked onto her. He's
Yeah.
like, he is only eyes for her. She's kind of like looking around and like talking about the movies and whatever. And he's just like, boom, zeroed in.
Yeah,
on her.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
But that is an excellent point. So yeah, Freddie comes back into the scene because it's Mr. Heller's turn to buy drinks or something.
Yeah.
Which Saffron's like, nope, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy drinks. And then she's like, oh, and when I come back, can you teach me how to shoot a dart? And Freddie, being Freddie, is like, oh, you want a real pro to teach you. I'll teach you.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy was such a dick that's why I was like, he has to be on the team, right?
I mean, it's a fair assumption, but it's not.
Yeah,
He's just
because he's just playing
conveniently-
right into her plan.
But I mean, she knows how to work it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's playing them against each other, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
But by really not doing anything.
Yeah.
By the way,
Just
like,
by being hot.
yeah, exactly.
And a little ditzy.
Like literally. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's smooth. She's smooth when he's
Yeah.
like, you want a real pro to teach you. She uses this as yet another opportunity to kind of grease up Gary Heller and make
Yeah.
him feel real good. Where she's like, I'm sure Gary knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He can teach me.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
I wrote
big
that down
smile.
too. I wrote it down too. I imagine Gary knows what he's doing. I was like, girl, come on. And then she just turns away and like goes and gets the drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost like backhanded. It's almost like over her shoulder as she's leaving.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Ooh, that was good.
Smooth.
Yeah.
At the bar, this is where we learn what the favor was. Mm-hmm. The bartender goes, vodka, water. Yep. Drink them under the table, honey.
Yeah.
So we get, thing of them drinking, quick little montage. They're all getting drunk. Saffron is playing very drunk at this point. And we get a shot of a great big pile of crumpled up money on the table. And Saffron's looking ready to shoot a dart. So Gary Heller's standing right next to her, right by her ear, and like coaching her. And it's like, you got this, you can do it. She looks so nervous. And he like backs away to let her take the shot. And her face just changes.
Yeah.
She goes from being nervous to like what I call bored confidence.
Oh.
Of like, boo! And she nails the like 19 times 3. I don't know what that's called, but
I don't either. Like the very outside edge of the dartboard where it's like impossible to hit.
She nails that shot. And so they win. Gary grabs the pile of money and he's like, and she runs up to him and she grabs his hands and they're like giggling in each other's faces.
Again,
like,
pretending to be drunk.
Yeah.
He's actually drunk. She's pretending to be drunk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the whole tone shifts.
Real quick.
Freddie, being the drunk dumbass that he is, starts yelling about how like, oh, Gary's such a pussy. He's such a pussy. You don't want to go hang out with him.
Yeah. He's like, no, double or nothing.
Yeah.
Like
he's
doesn't
like
want to
trying to coax them into playing more.
Yeah.
And instead he just starts antagonizing them. And then he says, he's so uptight and cranky. He's so cranky ever since Patty left him for the pool. Mr. Heller just tackles this guy.
Slams him.
And puts a dart to his face. And this is a dart with a metal tip kind of dart.
Yeah.
Those things do fucking damage.
Right. You could pierce the jugular with that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he is shoving this dart in Freddie's face and just like, apologize to the lady.
Yeah.
And Saffron just runs up and grabs him on the arms and is like, can we just go? Can we just get out of here?
Yeah. Can we just leave, please?
Yeah.
And again, at this point, I was like, is this part of the plan? Is she freaking out right now? Or is this still in character?
Did you see her face after he walked away?
I don't know if I did.
Because he leaves Freddie. He like backs off.
He does.
Turns to leave. And she's still hovering over Freddie from the other side. And her face is just pure terror. So like she is almost out of her depth with this guy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
He's got a trigger finger, he's got an anger problem, and he's violent.
Yeah, big time. Big violent. Yeah, and I feel like it was at this point that I was starting to try to connect the dots of like Sally saying something is off and this guy's like massive rage trigger.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention like all of her marks that we know of up to this point have been young, attractive.
Exactly.
He's older.
Yeah.
Kind of unattractive. I mean, the actor honestly isn't that bad.
He's
the way they talk about him, he's like so ugly.
He's not. I wrote what I wrote when we first meet him at the bank. I was like, he's just a dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I don't know. He's like very, I mean, he's sort of large. Yeah. He's like kind of stocky.
He's got a bit of a bulldog look to him.
Yeah,
he's
a
not
little
bad
bit.
Looking.
No.
Yeah.
But he's not Richard or Ezra.
No. So it's definitely not her usual mark.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's definitely more of an age gap.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Sally thinks something's off. This is a special case to the doctor. This guy's got a violence problem.
Right. I forgot that this was a special case to the doctor. And yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of red flags going on.
Yes.
Yeah. But we get a shot of the bank at night and someone is remote hacking into Gary's computer and starting to clone shit.
I love a hacking shot.
We love it. It's Max, the IT guy, doing shit. So I think we get a shot of his bank account. We see the mail order bride website.
Yeah.
But something
his
happens.
History.
Yeah. Something happens that his session terminates. Like his remote session hacking into Heller's computer just stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a nice transition here as well where they're like showing his computer at the bank and like the remote hacking happening on his screen. And then they do a transition like through the computer screen to Max's side of the computer. And then they like to show Max and like what he's doing. And then when whatever happens that kicks him out, he's like, oh shit. And yeah. So I appreciated the camera work there.
Yeah, it was some nice work. All right, so we're back at Saffron's apartment. She stumbles in very drunk, and Gary Heller is walking behind her.
Yep.
She immediately just collapses down onto the couch.
He's very sober at this point.
Yeah.
By the way, which I thought was kind of weird.
Or maybe just somber. I don't know.
Something.
I don't know. I guess I kind of read it as he's a little self-aware that he might have fucked up and scared her.
Okay. I think he's also very aware that like, I'm at my secretary's apartment right now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of vulnerability with the whole situation. That's just put him back on guard a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah. He goes to get her a glass of water.
Yep.
And while pretending to be drunk and rolling over and pretending to start to fall asleep, she says, I know people say you're a jerk, but you just don't know the real you. The line that like every guy wants to hear, I think.
The line that every person wants to hear, honestly.
Probably. Actually, yeah, that's probably way more accurate.
But,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's a bit, I think the line is fine. But I was like, okay.
But I do think, like, if you're thinking about this from her perspective, like, she just saw him act incredibly violently. Right?
True.
This should scare any woman off.
True.
Especially a woman as attractive and vibrant as Saffron Keys, who could have any man that she wants, right?
True facts.
But she needs to reassure him that she's still in it.
Yeah. Good point.
So like this is a good way to kind of
and she's drunk, so like it doesn't come off as like too serious or cool.
Yeah. I think it plays well.
Yeah.
At least for him. He's in a vulnerable enough place right now that that's what he needs.
Yeah, it works.
/ wants to hear.
It works.
And he's willing to believe it.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so he leaves her the glass of water. As she's rolled over on her side and starting to fall asleep, he gently pulls a blanket over her and then very tenderly touches her on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Before leaving. As soon as the door shuts.
I was like, girl, you're not even going to wait 5 seconds to make sure he's gone? Come on. Like, what if he was like, oh shit, I put my keys down and forgot and like walked back. Come on.
I know.
I was like, a minute? Something. Damn.
As soon as the door shuts, her eyes open, her expression changes. And
the
she
millisecond
sits up. Yeah.
He's gone.
She calls Patrick.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, girl. Ooh, girl.
She's just wondering, is there going to be a smoked brisket at the barbecue?
Yeah.
Because her choice of going to the barbecue is dependent on the meat.
Yeah.
A wink.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of a sweet, like, sexy moment because he's listening to jazz and they just sit on the phone together quietly listening to the jazz that he's playing, and she's smoking a cigarette out the window. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit noir again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a vibe to it.
I dig it. And then, yeah, the jazz goes from diegetic to non-diegetic.
Yeah.
And then we transition. I was like, jazz transition. That's cute. I like it.
Yeah, they're falling in love.
Are they?
Are they?
She's giving away information, everybody. Watch out.
I'm trying to entice you into watching the show. That's all. Watch the show, damn it. It's good. Bring it back. Next scene.
Back to the boys.
Our two lovely buddy cop partners, Richard and Ezra, are practicing pickpocketing
They're
each
practicing
other.
lifts. It's so cute. I really like
barely felt it that time, man. Barely felt it.
Yeah.
So good. So yeah, they're still driving. They're still on their road trip. And, you know, they want to listen to some tunes. And so they come up with this deal. Whoever has the wallet controls the radio. And then Ezra's like, boom, I have it. Yeah. She's like, how?
He lifted it.
Ezra's getting better. And
so is that something that continues?
What?
Is that like an ongoing bit of like them stealing each other's wallet?
I wish it was.
Why would it not be?
I'm mad that it's not.
Come on.
I know.
It's
it was
right
a
there.
perfect setup.
Yeah.
And they didn't take advantage of it. It's heartbreaking.
Tragic.
I know.
That's like the type of thing, like if this were a USA show, they would
that would be the ongoing like gag.
That would be a bit.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
We get a driving montage, so third montage of the episode. And we get a quick flashback of Richard picturing Alice.
Yeah.
Which when Saffron Keys / Maddie / Ava, when she's Alice, she's got like straight blonde hair.
Yeah.
She looks very proper. She looks rich.
Yeah, I would like to see that character because I want to know what he thinks his ideal woman is.
If you watch more of the show, you do get to see it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so Ezra's reading, I think, the book in the back of the car at one point, and we get the line, "At the bottom of every frozen heart is a drop or two of love, just enough to feed the birds."
Yeah.
So just like, the little hopeful, romantic line.
Was this the book that, what's her name?
Gabby
gave him? Okay, cool. I thought
she's
so.
She's girl.
Yeah, and I think that was implied, but it wasn't super clear that that's what he was reading.
Yeah, it's just implied.
So, yeah. Anyway.
I'm assuming that's the line she underlined for him.
Right. That was the only lead in to that I could think of from the rest of the episode. So,
yeah. And this book does come back in a way that actually hurts a lot more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just, he reads another line from the book that's just like, ugh.
What, do we know what book it is?
No.
That's weird. They never give you the name of the book?
They might. I just don't know.
When did she
I'm
give
sure,
it?
No, they do. They do. He does bring it up.
She give it to him in the pilot?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know. He does bring up the title of the book, though, in a later scene. I just cannot think of it.
It's a real book, though?
It is. I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Ezra and Richard are almost out of gas.
Yeah.
So they pull into a diner.
They are like on empty. Like the car is sputtering.
It is just on neutral as they roll into
Fumes.
that parking spot.
Yeah. Which is like one of my worst nightmares, to be honest.
Oh, I got a horrible story about the time I almost ran out of gas, but we'll save it for
later.
So they pull into a diner.
Yep.
And I love this because everyone in the diner is old. And like, if
More or
you've
less.
ever been to a diner in the middle of an afternoon on a weekday,
Yeah, fair enough.
it's just old people.
Fair enough.
Everywhere.
I mean, or people traveling like them.
True.
But depending on where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, one of their rules of their con is no old people.
No old people. Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, well, who are we gonna con? And then some old dude at the counter starts berating the waitress about how he asked for sourdough and it's the wrong bread. So they make an amendment.
They look at each other.
Yeah. They make an amendment to the rules or the code that they have. Assholes trump old people.
Yep. Assholes trump everything, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Including babies.
Yeah. Asshole babies, totally fine to con. Mm-hmm. Totally fun.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. So they're going to pull the mustard dip con. And we get a nice little voiceover as the scene unfolds. I think it's very well done.
I was like, yay, they're doing con education with us. I love it.
They're going to teach you how to con.
Yeah.
They do that throughout the whole show. You should watch it.
Yeah. And actually, this is more explanation than they usually give in Leverage. Because in Leverage, a lot of times they'll just say the name of the con, and either A, it's a totally made up name, like it's not a real con, or B, if it is a real con, then they'll just proceed to show you how it's done.
Right. Yeah.
So there's no need to like explain it.
Yeah. And they kind of start doing that more where they're like, here's the name of the con.
Yeah.
They usually give a brief, this is what it means.
Yeah.
And then they'll just execute.
But I like that in this part, they explain it to you because they're about to fail abysmally at executing it. So that you know what it's supposed to look like.
Yep.
And then you see what they do and they're total shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
Hey, they're new to this.
Yeah.
So a simple yet effective small-time con. First, pick a mark with a calm and easygoing temperament. Old man still yelling at waitress about
this guy
toast.
Clearly is not.
Yes. So Ezra approaches this man sitting at the counter, and he goes to grab the condiment of his choice. He grabs a bottle of mustard and accidentally squirts it onto the guy's jacket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Accidentally, very
Obviously.
Yeah.
Not smooth. In one simple fluid motion, remove your Mark's jacket. Ezra just wrestles with the guy. Trying to pull off his jacket, and he pulls the wallet from the guy's jacket pocket. As
Extremely
we get the
clunkily.
Yes, as we get the voiceover, extract the wallet just as your partner appears to seemingly abscond with it.
Yeah, right.
And instead the wallet just goes flying.
Yeah. Up in the air, lands on the floor.
Mm-hmm. The old guy starts yelling about how Ezra stole his wallet. He's like, I didn't. It's right here. Look. And Ezra picks it off the ground and hands it back to the guy. He's like, see, I didn't take it. No harm. And so Richard and Ezra just bolt out of the diner.
They're like, bye.
Yeah. And Richard's just like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And Ezra pulls out a wad of cash.
Yeah. I saw it coming.
Yep. And he was like, I took it before I gave him his wallet back. And they both just start getting super excited.
They're both like giggling.
Yes. I think we get some kind of comment about the adrenaline rush.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then Richard says, it's like a drug.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the line, do you think this is how she felt when she took us? What if we don't recognize her? She might not recognize us. Mm-hmm. They're changing. For the better.
Yeah. I appreciate it that they did that. Like, they made the comparison. Again, a little clunky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was
not
like,
the smoothest line.
Yeah, I was like, when he was like, do you think this is how she felt? I was like, that was very unsubtle.
Yeah.
But sure, okay. But then mostly by the end of the scene, I was like, okay, you got the money, but you guys did not solve your empty tank problem. They just get in the car.
TV magic.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's very much one of those, keep the fun train going.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so 59 miles to go on the road trip. They are getting close.
Woo.
Meanwhile,
yeah.
Back at Heller's house, Sally, as her maid self, is doing her maid thing.
Vaguely Eastern European accent.
Mm-hmm. I think she's Polish.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so, she's cleaning up the kitchen. Heller leaves, so she starts snooping. She's going through I
loved this scene.
Yeah, she's going through, like, the bedside table, seeing what's in there. She's going through the medicine cabinet.
Yeah. I love that she's looking through stuff and she's looking for his dirty secrets and whatever, but she's also like doing her job.
She's doing her job.
She's also like cleaning the house while she's going through it. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly how you would need to do it, because A, he's expecting a clean house when he comes back. B, if he comes back early or something, you have to be able to say real quick that you were doing something else.
Yep.
And yeah, I just really appreciated that. It wasn't like he unlike the other girl before, like she opened her eyes immediately after. She like kind of keeps going. She's still in character sort of in a way. And yeah, I just appreciated that, like, she was sort of incorporating her like snooping into the actual job that she's supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
I liked it.
Yeah. So yeah, like at one point she's making the bed and she finds Chekhov's gun under the bed.
Yeah, a literal gun, by the way.
A literal gun. And yeah, she's like dusting up. Like,
and she like makes a face at it, right? She's like, oh shit. Yeah. He has a gun. Like, she wasn't expecting to find a gun necessarily.
No.
Yeah.
No, she was not. And yeah, so she's dusting up by like a light fixture or by a window or something. And as she's climbing down from the little step ladder that she's on, the floorboard creaks.
Yeah. And real quick before this, we see that he's on Zoloft.
Oh, I didn't even take a note of that.
Oh, really? Yeah. So she, in the medicine cabinet, right? She's going through his medicine cabinet.
What is that for?
I believe Zoloft is an antidepressant.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just wrote that down.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and then I wrote, he's got a gun. Jesus.
Right, he's violent. He's got a hair trigger when it comes to how
under
angry
his
he
bed.
gets. Yeah.
Under his mattress. Mm-hmm. Like, not even, locked in a safe or
Nope.
whatever. Like, nah.
Just
under his
a pistol
mattress.
under his
Which
mattress.
is also, to me, we haven't necessarily seen a lot of paranoia from him. We've seen more anger, but bruh.
That's a good point.
If you sleep with a gun under your mattress,
that's a really good point.
Like, you're expecting something.
And I think we're about to find out why he might be paranoid.
Maybe. This raised more questions for me than answers, but let's go.
So as Sally's climbing down off the stepladder, the floorboard creaks. Mm-hmm. She plays around with it a bit and it's creaky.
She's like, that's weird.
So she pulls back the carpet, starts knocking around, and finds a way to loosen the floorboards.
Yeah.
Pulls them out, and what does she find, Amanda?
A bunch of cash.
A shit ton of cash in stacks and like saran wrapped up.
Yeah. Like, how much money did you think was in there?
She grabbed one thing that was, what, 10 grand? Like, one pile was 10 grand.
Sure.
And...
Or maybe 5 in
there's
there?
At least like 20 piles in there.
Were there really?
You see it later. I don't know how much is actually, but it's like, it's a shit ton of money.
Okay. I feel like I couldn't see more than, maybe 5 stacks like under. Because they only show you like a little slot.
Like a little tiny sliver of what's all under there.
Yeah. It's a lot of money though. Like whether, at some point, like whether it's, a stack of 10 grand, whether it's 50 grand or...
why does he have money under the floor?
200 grand. Yeah. Like, what is he doing? Where did he get that money?
Especially when he has $2 million in the bank.
I was like, is this money special, secret,
it's dirty money,
scary money?
Right? Like, it's got to be dirty.
Yeah. That's part of the reason I liked the scene so much. I was like, oh, this just got way more intense.
Yeah. Like, stakes just went whoop.
Yeah.
Way up.
Way up. Without hardly doing anything.
Right.
With just being like having her looking through the house and being like, wow, he's got some shady shit.
Yep. He's violent and there's something off with this job. And now we got a shit ton of money.
Interesting.
And a gun.
Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun. And of course, this is when Mr. Heller arrives home.
Yeah. Well, no, she's not. She puts everything back.
It's one of those like tense fake out moments where like she's looking through the floorboard at the pile of money and she sees him through the window coming back in.
Oh, really?
And so you're led to believe that he might walk in on her.
Oh, I missed that.
But she's in the kitchen putting dishes away by the time he actually gets into the house.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's still a tense moment because she knows something's really off at this point. She wants to get out of this house. She doesn't want to be there with him.
Really?
I kind of get that vibe.
Interesting.
Yeah, where she's like, oh, I'm almost done with dishes. I'll be out. And he's like, no, stay. And her face kind of falls.
Interesting. Okay.
And so like, at least to me, I read it as like her being a little more tense and a little more paranoid that maybe he saw her looking through all the cash.
I have a counter argument to that,
Hit
but
me.
after you're done with this conversation.
Wait.
No, because it's at the end of the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he tells her to stay because he wants to talk to her about something. And so in a very thick Polish Eastern European accent that I cannot do, I was practicing earlier at home and it just sounded racist. So
yeah, no,
I'm not doing it.
No.
But she says, so this girl, you like her. So what problem?
Yeah, it's like if I try to do it at all, it's just going to come out Russian.
Yeah.
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 Which... yeah, I can't. My ear can't really distinguish the difference between.
And when I try to do it, it comes out Asian somehow, and that's
Does
just
it?
like, yeah.
Try to do it right now. I'll
No.
I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out.
I know. It's just gonna be worse. I'm not doing it. I am not doing it.
Okay.
I can't even do a British accent. I fucking lived there. Like.
Yeah.
I'm not good at accents, y'all. That's why my Midwest one is so thick. Anyway. So this girl, you like her, what problem?
Yeah.
And he brings up the fact that he had a fiance not that long ago and it didn't end well. And I like this line. She says, the heart is a strong muscle. It springs back. You're ready for love again. And then she says something like, you a handsome man.
Yeah.
And he immediately is like, don't.
Yeah.
And he like points at her super menacingly.
The anger again.
And she gets super uncomfortable. And he just says, I know how people see me.
Yeah.
It's like,
bro.
Jesus fuck, man.
Damn.
Yeah. And so like Sally recomposes herself, gets back on track, back on mission.
Yep.
But this saffron make you feel good. There's my accent.
You got it.
I got it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Okay. Saffron make you feel good. And he's like, yeah, she makes me want to be nice.
Yeah.
Bruh.
I laughed. Yeah.
Yeah. And she just says, I think you're going to have good luck with this girl.
Yeah, when the face she makes when he says she makes him want to be nice, it's real good. She's like, okay.
Yeah, so what were your...
Well, I thought, so yeah, at the end of this conversation when she's saying, I think it's going to work out for you or whatever she says, at that point she has like I feel like she has a look of satisfaction on her face. Like, yeah. I just did the thing.
Yeah, she's doing her part.
Yeah. And she's
pushing him along.
she's looking at the camera. He's standing behind her.
Yeah.
So they're not.
They're they're not looking at each other.
No.
Yeah.
I did see that when he initially started talking to her and was like, there's something I want to talk to you about. I did notice that moment where she was like, maybe there was like a little bit of nervousness or something. But I also feel like that's informed just by us, like knowing that, you know,
it's like a bit of the Hitchcock suspense formula.
Yes.
Where we know more than the characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or at least one of the characters. I think at this point she's pretty well informed as to how he is acting and I guess I don't know how much Maddie is sharing with them as far as any anger issues he may or may not have.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like how much information
they never
really
establish how much, because they're clearly close enough that they're going to be having drinks together and like
they should be communicating a lot.
Yeah.
For this.
And they do in other cons, so I would assume that they were trading notes.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
All that is to say, I had never got the impression at any point that she was like, "Oh shit, I need to be out of here right now." I feel like she was like, yes, maybe there was like a bit of like hesitation.
Yeah.
But then she was like right back on it.
Okay, because I've always read this scene as she was worried he caught her looking through the floorboards.
Interesting. I feel like I kind of missed the point they were trying to make of like him maybe walking in on her. I feel like I missed that somehow, so I didn't get that.
Yeah. All right.
But
well, maybe I always just read into it too much.
Who knows? It's still a good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I appreciate that it shows obviously her competence as well.
Right.
And I think that's what I liked about the flashback as well, is showing also her history of like, she used to be Maddie. Yeah. And now she's sort of graduated to this, you know, older woman. She's one role.
Of the background.
Yeah.
Like supporting characters.
Yeah. And I would love to know how she feels about that. Like, does she hate it? Is she like, damn, I used to be the one who was like out there doing the thing.
I don't
and
think
now I'm a
she's ever
fucking
mad
cleaning
about
lady.
That. No. I don't think so.
She's like, my days are over, you know. Let the next generation take on the big role.
That never becomes a point.
Interesting.
No. Because I think like at the end of the day, Sally is still a con artist, and like she's still doing the job, right? Yeah. And so like
it's
not
all one job,
just with this con, but with other cons that
sure.
they pull. Like I think she just relishes being a con artist.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
She's damn good at it.
Yeah.
That is one thing I like about this episode too, that you don't get in the pilot, and that's part of why I wanted to watch it for this one.
Sure.
Is you get to see all three of them like do their thing, do their specific thing in the con,
and they're locked
like,
in.
How expert they are at navigating through it all.
Competent porn.
Amanda, you will love this show.
Yeah.
All right, so over to Richard and Ez.
Dem boys.
They are at Shady Lane Inn.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Part of me is like, bro, why didn't you just go to a YMCA?
Something.
Young man. Instead, they pull up to Shady Lane Inn, and they're asking if they can see the room before they check in, because they want to make sure it's up to their standards. Mm-hmm. And the poor hotel clerk is, well, we can't really do that.
We don't really do that.
No one does that. And Richard just immediately grabs Ezra's hand and is just like, I guess they just don't want our kind here.
Yeah. Does he say babe?
I think so.
I think he says babe. And I knew it was going to be a gay thing, but they are just at the edge of this being able to work in the year 2017.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I don't know if you could pull that one off anymore.
Keep in mind, this was 2 years after gay marriage was legalized, which was a super contentious thing that happened. Yeah. So, like, 2 years later, these guys are like, we're going to make you uncomfortable for rejecting gay people. Like, totally within the time frame. Yeah. But it works. Hey, they play the gay card. Yeah. And it works.
Yeah, now, like, if this aired now, I'd be like,
yeah, that would not work.
No, I don't believe it. But, yeah.
But they get to check out the room to make sure it's up to their standards. And, you know, they shower, they clean up, they shave. They stand in front of the mirror and go,
this is actually,
hello, Alice. Hello, Ava.
Yeah, this is the fourth montage.
Yes.
And like there's so many montage, and I just wrote lol shower montage.
Yeah. So quick montage. Now they are both very sharply dressed. They're looking their best. They're smelling their best.
Yeah.
They go back to the hotel clerk and just say, not enough natural light.
Yeah.
And leave.
Sorry, bye.
And
I appreciated it.
It's good. I think it's good. It's like the third con that they pull.
Yeah.
And they actually pulled it off.
Yeah, I appreciate the very, very slow progress that they're making. With the first one was like total botch, like got nothing out of it.
Yep.
Second one botched it, but managed to grab some cash.
Still got something.
Third one kind of pulled it off a little bit, and like at least on this like poor unsuspecting girl who's like not gonna raise the issue. So we're getting somewhere very slowly.
They're making progress.
Yeah.
And
I like that they like had to pull a con so that they could shower.
Right.
I thought that was just like inherently funny.
But yeah, so we get our moment of truth,
Yes.
so to speak. They're gonna go meet their ex-wife, and so
Their ex-wife, yeah.
Yeah, they pull into across the street from an apartment building. They're ready. Suspenseful music starts playing. They're approaching the door. They're wishing each other luck.
Like as soon as they started pulling up to the building, I was like, they're gonna be at the wrong place, right?
We get a shot of Saffron on the couch watching a movie on her laptop. There's a knock at the door. Just a minute.
This is not groundbreaking cross-cutting.
No.
But, you know.
Yeah, she goes to open the door. The door opens, and Ez and Richard are looking shocked, and the scene cuts back to Maddie, and it's just the pizza guy.
Yeah.
And instead, Richard and Ezra are looking at a different woman. Another gorgeous actress, tall, dark, black hair.
Yep.
Like artist type vibe to
Sure.
her. And who the hell are you? Who the hell are you?
Yeah, right.
And do you know this woman? And they each pull out a picture of their wife.
Yep. Which this is mirroring the pilot, right?
Yeah.
The end of the pilot. Richard did the same thing to Ezra.
Yeah, except this time they aren't pretending to be FBI.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the woman grabs the photo out of Richard's hand, and she goes, "You kidding me? That's my wife." Richard,
Yeah.
No way.
Again,
absolutely fucking mind blown.
Again, it works in 2017. I don't think you'd get nearly as much shock value out of it today.
No, you definitely wouldn't.
But I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah. I was like, yeah, okay.
It's a bit of a plot twist in the sense of like the comp het, like compulsory, heteronormativity or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Like that, at least for me, the first time I watched it, that kicked in hard. Right?
Sure.
I see a woman and she goes, "My wife."
Well, especially because
"Oh."
we've now established a pattern of her going after men. Mm-hmm. So sure. Yeah.
And yeah, that's essentially, she asks, "Is she dead?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
what?
they're like, no.
And so she just closes the door.
Yeah.
And that's where the episode ends.
Yeah, I like that ending.
Yay.
I liked it a lot. And I immediately wrote, oh, okay, so does she join the team too?
Yes,
I'm here for it.
And like I said at the top, this actress, she is my favorite character. Like Jules is my favorite character.
Okay.
Before I get into all of that, thoughts on the episode?
I enjoyed it overall.
Yeah?
I very much enjoyed it. Yeah, I think like of my few complaints, I would say that some of the acting was a little bit like I am reading this line right now.
Yep. Like I said, that issue does continue throughout the show.
The girl who plays Maddie's really good though.
She's incredible.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
The voice work, like the not even accent work. I mean, she does the one accent playing Ezra's wife, but I don't know, just the way she uses her voice as Saffron mainly, it's nuts. I'm like, what? How are you even doing that right now?
And like when you see her as Ava or Alice or Jules' ex-wife, Cece, like she's a different character
Completely
each
different.
time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And pulls it off just so like mannerisms, the voice, like style of speech, all of it changes.
Reminds me of Sophie Devereaux, obviously. Also reminds me of Orphan Black. Tatiana Maslany playing like 8 different people that are the same person.
I need to watch that.
Have you not watched it?
No. I know.
Oh my God. I'm so ready for it. Dude, if you like this, just wait till you get into some Orphan Black craziness. And that shit got finished.
Oh,
Orphan Black.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they're doing a not a reboot. They're doing a spinoff. They're doing a spinoff with Kristen Ritter.
Huh.
Right? Yeah.
All right.
I'm here for
it. I know I need to check it out. But...
Yeah, that may come up in a future episode of the Show Off. Now I got that seed planted. But yeah, she's great. What's her name? What's her
Imbar Lavi.
Imbar Lavi. Excellent. Feels like she's playing with fire with this Heller guy.
Yeah.
And the whole team is kind of playing with fire.
Yeah.
So I like that as like a element of danger of like, clearly they're very competent and they know what they're doing. But as Sally said, something is wrong, something's off. And like, they're not quite getting it yet.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we're starting to put the pieces together more than they are. Or if they are putting the pieces together, particularly, Maddie in regards to this guy's anger, like she's just not taking it seriously enough yet.
Yeah.
It's like we kind of said before, in like any other situation, you as a woman would be out.
Oh yeah.
Like you'd be gone.
For the hills.
Yeah. Like run the opposite way.
Absolutely.
But she can't.
Nope.
Because she's in this con, and it's like, I feel like she's a little overconfident.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh yeah, because she's done this so many times.
Right.
And she's out of his league. How could she not succeed here?
Yeah. And yeah, I'm just like, ooh, this guy has a gun. This guy has secret dirty money. He can get real mad. Like, ooh, I don't know. Like it's a good spot to be in terms of setting up the season, setting up some stakes. And yeah, lots of good overarching questions. Who's the doctor? Mm-hmm. What's the crew's end goal? You already told me this, but like, are they being forced to do this, to participate in these cons? Can they ever leave? And like, how many spouses of this girl are there going to be? Are there going to be just like an indefinite number of people that they've conned, and like they're just going to amass this like team of jilted lovers? And yeah, are they going to kind of form their own crew? I mean, that's kind of where we're getting at, I think, is they're forming their own crew to go after the real crew. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was fun. I would definitely watch more. I would just like some parts to be a little bit better written and some lines to be a little bit better delivered.
Yeah, totally fair critiques.
Yeah,
because I think the same every time I watch it.
And like that's fine. Like I have no, you just kind of.
For me, overall, I still get swept up enough in the fun of the show.
Yeah,
Where
we ended at the end of this episode, I can forgive those like little blunders to find out what happens next. Yeah, exactly. Which is like what you should be doing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nothing's
no
perfect.
episode's going to be perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I love them learning how to con. Oh my God. It was so funny. It was really good.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
No, it does though. That's what I'm saying. Like they keep learning.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. And I cannot believe there's not an ongoing bit with the wallet.
I know. That is a missed opportunity.
Like, are there any ongoing bits?
I mean, there's a few callbacks, but not a lot of ongoing ones. No.
This type of show is just ripe for that.
I know.
Especially with the two of them. The buddy cop thing.
Yeah, but then you get Jules. It would have been fun, though, if she also joined in the pickpocketing game.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like the game between the three of them. I love it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Keep it going,
Damn.
The more the merrier.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, couple of notes. One, would it surprise you to learn that Mr. Heller's plot does not make it to the end of the season?
Not to the end of this season 1?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, just okay.
What do you mean by that?
Like that whole plot line with them conning Heller ends, I think, by episode 5, if not 4.
Okay. In like a satisfying way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And they just move on. And that's part of what, at least for season 1, I think plays so well is you start with the professional crew going into a new con.
Sure.
And it pivots. because something comes up and they have to completely change directions.
Oh, okay.
And so now they're doing a new thing. And then something comes up and it completely throws off everything that was happening and they have to pivot again. And so season 1 is a real roller coaster ride of I know where this is going. I know what direction it's heading. So even with the new crew, so Ezra, Richard, and Jules, you know, their goal is to find Maddie, right? To find her, to find their ex-wife. And when they do, what next? So they have to pivot. But then they start to learn more about what's going on and what's happening. And like, so every time you think you know what direction the show is heading, it's something new. That by the time you get to episodes 9 and 10, the last 2 of the season, it's still hard to know, is this actually what the finale is going to be about? Because it's so wild.
Cool.
That works to the disadvantage of season 2.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then this is going to start to get into reasons why it was canceled. The start of season 2, I will admit, is rough.
Okay.
It feels very meandery. And they're doing the same thing where it's, this is the goal, this is the direction we're heading. Something happened, something come up, we're going a different way.
Yeah.
Instead, it just feels rambly. It doesn't feel like there's ever actually a real concrete goal that they're heading for.
Sure.
That would be satisfying, right?
Sure.
And so, as this stuff unfolds and new things get thrown into the mix, it starts to become exciting, but it does start very slow.
Makes you wonder, like, how much that time they had with season 1 versus season 2.
Yeah.
Writing wise. Right.
And I was reading a little bit on like what the writers were saying about this too. And they were talking about the way they wrote the show is they would write the finale first, basically. Or they knew where they wanted it to end. They knew what the big con would be at the end of the season.
Usually a good sign.
Yeah. And so they would work backwards from there and figure out how to get all the pieces into place. And it makes sense because it's not to say the first half of season 2 is unnecessary.
Sure.
Because it's setting up, like, it's still putting all the pieces in place and setting everything up for the finale.
Yeah.
It's just meandering and kind of slow.
Not as tight.
No. So the ratings were down for season 2, even though overall it ended very strong. Oh, God, the season 2 finale is so good. I'll get into that in a second. The other reason that it was canceled was money. Bravo decided it was a lot more lucrative to just keep doing reality TV than to pay for scripted television.
I'm sure it is, man.
Yeah. So that
Even though reality TV is also scripted, come on.
Yeah. But at that time, part of the decision to drop Imposters and cancel the show was a larger network decision to just do away with all scripted television.
Tragic.
Yeah. So that, honestly, I think that is the bigger contributing factor to why it was canceled. Even if they had the best possible season 2, I think they still would have been canceled off Bravo.
Sure.
Maybe another network would have picked them up.
I was going to say, do you know if there was any market for that?
Not that I found.
Yeah,
no, because even I think I watched this originally in 2018 or 2019, like shortly after it came out.
Sure.
And there was a lot of people like, why isn't there a season 3? Is someone going to pick it up? And everywhere I looked, it was no one's taking it.
Yeah. Bummer.
It really is too bad. So yeah, some other things that I just need to gush about.
Hit me.
I love this show. So yeah, like I said, no one is who you think they are.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Cool.
And it's not just like they're pretending to be other people. It's that it gets to a point where you don't even know if they're pretending to be a different person or like a different version of themselves in front of somebody else. Like, are they lying to them? Basically.
Like you don't know if they're playing a character or if they're being themselves.
Yep.
Cool.
And so even when they're having these heartfelt moments and conversations, you don't know if this is genuinely them speaking from their heart.
Yeah.
Or if it's just a way to manipulate the other characters.
I feel like that, I like that, but I feel like that is a very fine line to walk in terms of writing and your like people being invested in your characters or not.
It usually works though because you get the setup and you get the payoff within the next 10 minutes.
Cool.
So you learn pretty quickly what the angle was.
Sure.
So that way it doesn't feel like, you know, like you're blindsided when
or you're just like constantly guessing about somebody. Yeah.
So there's definitely a feel of uncertainty. There are moments, right, where you're like, oh, I got a handle on it. I know, I understand now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, that was part of the con.
Yeah.
And it's not just them to each other, right? It's them to the audience. Where it's like Ezra will suddenly act super drunk and disrupt the whole situation that they set up. And it was supposed to be like this was supposed to be the play, and it was supposed to be smooth, and now Ezra's drunk, and then you find out, nope, that was part of the play.
Yeah. A very leverage move as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that.
And like, honestly, going back to like an Ocean's move, honestly.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a perfect comparison.
Very, like, kind of this era, very standard con artist storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what's part of the con and what's not. Or you think it's going one way and it was actually this other thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always fun.
It's always fun.
It's always fun. It always works.
The other thing that's really fun about it is, the new group. So you have Richard, Ezra, Jules.
Yeah.
And Jules is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. I feel like you have to tell me why she's your favorite.
There is just something about her she's both very insecure and very sarcastic and very snarky and very like sometimes ennui. I don't give a fuck. And it's just this perfect combination. She honestly has some of the best like digs at people.
Hell yeah.
Just because it's goofy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. She's fun. I like her a lot.
I mean, I definitely feel like at this point from what I've seen, we really need that in contrast to the guys.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, right? Because
Yeah.
she is what completes
The trio.
Yeah, the trio. Like,
yeah.
You have the buddy cop vibe.
Yeah.
But you throw her into the mix and they're all the perfect balance of each other.
Would you say she grounds them?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I feel like that's what they need.
She's the one that usually cracks the whip of like, hey guys,
exactly.
Focus. This is what we need to do.
Yeah, like.
It's not always the case. Sometimes Ezra steps up into that role.
Sure.
But usually when she's feeling like really insecure. But yeah, for the most part, she's the one that's trying to keep them on track.
Keep them going. Yeah, I feel like we're at a point where I'm like, yeah, these guys need some structure.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, and then I think the thing that's fun about watching the three of them too is watching them learn how to be con artists and what their strengths are within the con. And so I'm going to get into some spoiler territory here.
Yeah,
all right?
hit me.
One, they are trying to con the professional con artist.
Right.
So when they do find Maddie, which of course they are going to, they're trying to infiltrate her life and infiltrate her new con, and like they don't necessarily know what they want out of the situation yet, other than to just fuck up her life.
Interesting.
So initially they're trying to con her, and then
I have so many questions.
More spoilers. I think initially their motive is just that they want their money back. That's what they say, but it really just gives more of a vibe of we're just here to fuck with you.
Yeah, I mean, we've established that they're all. I'm assuming Jules is also rich in some way.
Yeah.
It comes from a rich family, something.
Yes.
So, like, we've established that they all could have access to additional money if they wanted to.
Right. At least Jules and Ez could. Richard did come from a poor family and, like, worked his way up through shady means.
Oh.
Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting.
I
okay.
know. It's fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, so
he's
initially...
the ditziest.
He's the ditziest, but he has some good ideas every now and then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so initially they're trying to con the professionals, and then eventually they get roped in to the bigger con, and so they start working as a very begrudging team, all six of them.
Oh my god.
Uma Thurman gets introduced.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get to Uma Thurman.
Nope, she's not in this episode.
Damn
she's
it.
in maybe 2 or 3 episodes this season. I forgot to tell you. I lied. I said she wasn't in season 2. She is in season 2. Only for an episode, only for like 2 scenes, but she fucking chews the scenery up. It's so good. Amanda, you need to watch it.
Is she the doctor?
She's not.
Okay. Oh. No. Cool.
Okay, and then this is the last big spoiler that I am going to give away. So, as the new gang, improves in their con skills, you see that Jules and Richard are good at it. They can do it, especially, like, Jules has a particular knack for some stuff. Richard has a particular knack for other things. Mm-hmm. They're good at it.
Yeah.
They don't like it. Neither of them take any kind of pleasure in pulling cons.
Interesting.
Ezra
is about it.
He is devoted to it. He fucking loves it, and he is really fucking good at it. And so he gets better and better throughout the show, and season 2 ends, spoiler, with a very ambiguous ending. about Ezra and if he's going to go back to a quiet life or if he's going to go full con artist and kind of become the new antagonist of the show.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Or a competing antagonist.
Sure.
So,
I
want to say more, but I can't because I have a feeling you will watch this.
I will.
Yes.
I think I'm on board at this point.
It's so quick. It's 20 episodes.
Right. I like that ending though. Like, I'm obviously sucks they got canceled.
Yeah.
But as far as canceled endings go, that sounds pretty damn compelling.
Yeah.
To leave off.
It's what they said. This is another thing I was reading about the writers is they wrote season 2, obviously not knowing whether they'd be extended or canceled.
Yeah.
And so the way they wrote the finale for season 2 is like, we want this to feel like it could be a series ending while still leaving you wanting something, right?
Yeah.
So for the most part, it ties up a lot of loose ends. But yeah, that's like the perfect little nugget of,
Yeah. Maybe.
And it's part of why I'm so mad that the show got canceled.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I need to know what happens. Like, okay, I love when the sweet, innocent character gets a little bit corrupted and then a little bit more corrupted and then they're evil and then they have a redemption arc. And I love it. And we didn't get that. And I'm mad.
Fair enough. Cool. Okay. So yeah, like, so that's what you wanted to see basically, because like you asked me last episode with Lie to Me, like what would you have wanted to see in like a final season or just like the show continuing to its full potential.
Okay, my ideal of like what I would love personally would be Ezra goes full evil. He becomes the new doctor type character where he's the new kingpin.
Okay.
And then Jules, Richard, Maddie, Max, Sal, they all have to team up to take down Ezra while also trying to save him and redeem him.
Okay, because they are sort of friends at that point?
Not really.
Okay.
But they just keep working together.
Okay.
Begrudgingly.
Okay. But they care about him enough to want to save him?
Oh, sorry. Okay. I was unclear of who you meant were friends. Jules, Richard, Ezra all do become very close friends.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just enough. With the other three con artists, so Maddie, Sal, Max, that relationship always stays strained.
Between the two groups?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, an alliance of convenience. I get it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's just a fun ride. It's never what you expect. Fun, very hot characters.
Yeah, everybody's quite attractive.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Yeah,
So
I mean,
Imposters.
it is. I will most likely be watching it.
Yes.
I would prefer to watch it with you, but
I mean,
it's
I'll watch
hard
it again.
Yeah, I know you would. It's just hard enough for us to schedule this,
I know.
let alone like other stuff. But yeah, that was Imposters. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So do you have an episode rating before we wrap up the episode? Okay. All right. No worries.
No, I will come up with it. I'll come up with it. You go first.
So don't laugh at me. Mine is 7 out of 8 gorgeous casting choices.
7 out of 8?
I am excluding Mr. Heller from that list because he's just all right. I'm sorry, my dude. They cast
We
you
apologize.
incredibly well.
Yeah.
But
you
you're
were
next to a bunch of supermodels.
You were correctly
so.
cast. To be fair, I think we can say at this point that he's easily the scariest.
Oh God, terrifying.
He makes what he lacks in atrociously good looks, he makes up for in
atrociously evil
danger.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, what is my rating? Oh, I know. Hang on. Oh yeah, okay. I got one. Yeah, this episode's getting 1 out of 1 mysterious trapdoors full of cash. What the heck was that about? That's what I need to know.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a very enticing rating. What is that about? Keep watching the show and find out. Watch the show. It's so good.
Yeah.
Other people need to be obsessed with this.
Yeah. If you guys are fans of Imposters, if you've seen the show,
oh my
definitely
God, please obsess with me, please.
Hit
I
us
need
up.
someone to talk to about this.
Yeah, leave us a comment on YouTube. Send us an email, theshowoffpod@gmail.com. Let us know. Let Kampy know.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm desperate.
Awesome. Okay, well, my friends, we have come to the end of our season 1
We have.
of the show off. To be very transparent with y'all, this was kind of a spontaneous decision. We actually had one more round planned.
Yeah.
But we decided we weren't super thrilled about it. And we're both about to head into kind of busier seasons of our lives.
Life is about to get really chaotic.
Yeah, Kampy's doing quite a bit of travel. I'm working on some business stuff. Yeah, it's just kind of a lot, and we would rather end it here and get out the goods to y'all as quickly as we can. We have a lot of editing to do. But we are figuring out our process, which is really good, especially in this first season.
Yeah.
So, that said, we will be recording a few additional bonus episodes for you all.
We're going to
never
be
fear.
Doing a very exciting episode on Twisters. I'm so excited.
I was going to say, should we tell them?
I'm telling them. I'm telling them because I can't keep it in. I am so excited. Twisters is coming out this Friday, 2 days from now. So I guess that dates when this episode was recorded. But we're going to do a little bonus on it. I get to talk about tornadoes.
Yeah.
I get to tell Amanda all about the weather community. Love y'all. It's going to be great.
Yeah. We've been waiting for this movie to come out for a minute, the whole year since the trailer dropped.
Since the trailer dropped.
At the Super Bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are both huge fans of the original. Mm-hmm. Why would you not love Twister?
It's got a bad rating on IMDb and
What?
Rotten Tomatoes, and I am offended.
What? What's the Rotten Tomatoes?
Fucking no. Rotten Tomatoes, the original Twister has an audience score of 58.
I'm sorry.
I know.
That is heinous.
I know. Critic score of 66. Still heinous. Let's look at the IMDb score.
I cannot believe.
I know. Who watches this movie? IMDb 6.5.
What?
I know.
Oh my God. I'm so offended.
It's
I'm
not
so
a perfect
offended.
movie, but it's such a good fucking movie. There's so many quotable lines.
Yeah. And it's just fun.
Cow.
Another cow. I think that was the same one. Come on.
I gotta go. We got cows.
Seriously, I say the cow thing every time. Like when you're on a road trip and you drive past some cows.
Yep.
Cow. Another cow.
It's the suck zone. The suck zone. The point in the Twister where you get sucked up.
There's so I love the scene where they're in the they're fucking hiding in the shed and they're like, who are these people? There's knives everywhere and stuff.
Just all the signs just flying around.
So good.
That's such a good movie.
But yeah, so the sequel's coming out. We watched the trailer.
The sequel, whatever.
We watched the teaser together and we were both like, oh,
the first trailer left me feeling very sad.
Twins!
We got twins! Twins!
Oh, man.
Yeah, no. And then there was enough stuff, too, that me and the rest of the weather community were like, fuck that! That's not real. That's not how this shit works.
So if you're confused about what Kampy's talking about as far as the weather community, she's very into tornadoes.
Not just tornadoes.
Okay, but it started with tornadoes, right?
Hurricanes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, it goes back a little bit deeper. I used to have really, really bad anxiety, and I would travel a lot for work. And so while I was on the road, my anxiety would keep me up to 2 or 3 a.m. The only thing that would calm me down was the Weather Channel. And especially after 8 o'clock, the Weather Channel would play a lot of weather gone viral and shit like that. And so it's just
weather gone
weather
viral.
Clips. Oh my God, I love that shit.
Girls gone bad. Weather gone viral.
When hurricane season would come around, they would just do 24/7 coverage of the hurricane. So I started getting into that.
Which calmed your anxiety?
Shockingly, I know. Actually, the hurricane stuff, not so much. Wildfire season came up too, and that also high anxiety.
Yeah.
But basically got deep into weather. There is a whole community out there. There's a bunch of storm chasers who live stream. There's people who are basically just weathermen who live stream during big storm outbreaks. I was watching one yesterday. No, not yesterday, the day before, because there was a big storm outbreak in the Midwest. There's subreddits, there's forums, there's basically a shit ton of stuff. And everybody in that community knows all the same YouTubers and streamers and everything, because it's a small community. And storm chasers.
It is one of those miraculous examples of the internet bringing people together.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say. When the original trailer for Twisters dropped, myself and everybody else in the leather community
and everybody else in the world probably.
Yeah, we were all like, fuck this shit.
We're all like, I don't know about this.
Yeah. And then the second trailer came out, and I don't know what it did for you, but for me,
it didn't do. I mean, yeah, I was like, okay.
It got me super excited though, personally.
I mean, there was never a question of like whether we were gonna. We were
gonna see it.
Yeah, we're gonna see it. But
yeah, the second trailer is referencing, I think, real life tornado events, still to be determined, but that means they did their research. If that's true, so I'm feeling better about it.
I mean, truly, it's like, why would you not base it on real life events when the real life events are as wild as they are?
They are fucking wild. And we'll talk about
She's
some
told
of
me
those
stories, y'all.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of those real life events when we talk about Twisters.
Yeah.
Because whatever they do reference, I'll like try to call out.
Yeah. And I don't know if are we calling this an episode of the show off? I don't think it is. It's just a bonus.
A bonus episode.
Just a bonus episode. Because we're not going to be able to like take notes in the theater and stuff.
Oh, I'm going to be bringing a notepad.
You're going to find a way.
Yeah. I'm going to be the little critic in the background.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, I'm going to see it twice. So.
Okay, fair enough. So you're going to see it more than I am.
Yeah. The first time I'm just going to enjoy. Let it wash over.
Sure.
The second time.
That's when I want to be there.
Oh no, I'm going to see it with my sister in Denver.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
That's right. Never mind. That's okay. We'll see it together one way or another.
We will.
No, I mean that'll be kind of fun actually, because then you'll know it's coming, but I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So you're like, if you go, you know what this means, right? Like if you go the first time and it's bad, you gotta lock that shit down. You can't be leaking micro expressions to me about how much you hate the movie. You gotta practice that.
Okay, all right, challenge accepted. Not only do I have to work on my accents after this episode, I have to practice lying. Great.
Very relevant for both of the shows that we talked about in this round. Yeah. So we're doing that, and then I'm gonna have a movie as well. So yeah, look forward to that. And like, whenever this is dropping, you guys won't have a delay. We're going to be hopefully dropping these, next week and the week after.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, I don't know. Are we going to do like a wrap up episode? Like a little, I don't know.
I was thinking about this. I feel like we should, and we should do like a superlative or like rank, like together, come up with our ranking of this season 1 of the show off. What were the best? What were the funniest? What were the like whatever, right?
I love it. Season superlatives.
Yeah.
Yes. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, we will plot that a little bit more and then tease it in our next couple episodes. So yeah, that sounds fun. We'll wrap out the season.
Be a good way to tie it all together.
Yeah, cool. Sounds fun. Okay. So look forward to that. We hope you've been enjoying the show so far. We've been enjoying making it.
It's been hella fun.
It's been hella fun. And leave us a comment on YouTube. Like the video. Leave us there's so many things. Leave us a rating on the podcast.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications.
Oh, man. God, it's like we're YouTubers. No, but like anyway, you want to reach out to us.
Like, but
yeah.
If you could engage with us, we'd find it fun.
Yeah.
Because we're nerds.
We're nerds. And we know you're nerds too as well if you're listening to this. And we want to hear from you.
Social interaction.
You guys don't understand. We hang out with each other all the time.
We need more friends. Help.
Yeah. But either way, we hope you have a good one, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
See y'all later. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Show Off. If you enjoyed this one, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast and give us your review of our episode pick for this week's pod. You can also email us at theshowoffpod@gmail.com. See you all next week.